Coming up on TechZilla, Microsoft makes money off of Android phones, upgrading a trailing edge GPU, how to encrypt a file before you email it, song fax, tuner cards for satellite TV, wireless headphones, and quite a bit more. So grab a spoon and dig into the ceviche, because TechZilla starts now. This episode of TechZilla is made possible by Squarespace, Carbonite Online Backup, and Netflix. I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Welcome to TechZilla, hands-on reviews of the latest tech and how to make the most out of the gear you've already got.
Whether you're a beginner, tech support for your friends and family, if you've got a question about tech, or why native Californians cringe when you call it Cali, we've got an answer for you.
They're uptight. And if we don't, we'll track down someone who does.
Yes.
I bought a truck on eBay, which is always an adventure.
Really?
Flew to Phoenix, met with some friends, did an amazing lunch, hence the ceviche reference. And I was laughing, like, the best way to make you feel like amazing when you're driving a vehicle is to have the soundtrack from the Star Trek movie, the 2009 J.J. Abrams, when the Enterprise like comes out, there's like the big Enterprise music theme when you're driving over a hill. It's really cool.
Not the Tron theme?
No. That makes me feel like I'm about to run into a light cycle and explode.
That's good.
But like the da-da-da-da-da-da as it's lifting out of the gas of the mood of Titan. Yeah, that's what it was like I was driving my truck.
I did not know that the actor who played Thor was Kirk's father in the Star Trek movie. I found that out because I was Googling him for no particular reason.
You know, it's amazing what a difference a haircut can make.
I know, right?
Because I never would have thought that.
I know. I was shocked. I remember at the time thinking like, oh, that actually kind of looks like he would be his father in a way. But now looking at him as Thor, I can't remember the actor's name, unfortunately. But he's pretty cute.
Opening scene in the Star Trek movie is so amazing.
Yeah, it's very epic.
Plus, like, Tiberius? Oh, that's the worst.
Anyhow.
Greetings from the Friday before Memorial Day. We're taping early this week, so we're light on the news because it's next week when you're watching this, so we can't really. We can't see in the future just yet. Right.
But the news that HTC pays Microsoft $5 for each Android phone it sells was just too fascinating to pass up. Business Insider quotes a Citi analyst that did a big report on Microsoft, who gets the $5 per Android phone as a result of a patent settlement between Microsoft and HTC. Apparently, Microsoft is suing other Android phone makers in search of $7.50 to $12 per phone.
Yeah, it's funny. Ballmer's like, Google doesn't have a lot of IP, intellectual property, to defend Android with. So apparently, Microsoft says their patents infringed on. Cut us a check.
And actually, they're making Microsoft is making more money off of Android phones than it is off of Windows Phone 7.
Unless they can manage to try to make it more and more expensive for phone vendors to use Android, so they start using Windows Phone 7.
Either way, they're getting money, so they probably don't care that much how it's coming to them.
It's like that scene from the Cinderella Man, the boxer story, and you make more money. The article included a pretty epic Android litigation timeline that listed all kinds of lawsuits that are going on in the mobile space right now. It's really fascinating to watch how lawsuits impact whether or not you can buy a decent phone.
Definitely. So for our first question of the week, we love a good GPU question, especially when they're tweeted like this one from Oberon Onmura. Oberon Onmura?
I just see the words, but I can't hear them.
Oberon Onmura. Okay, Patrick, he says, hey, I'm famously cheap. I'd like to buy last year's graphics card to replace my old GeForce 7600. Where should I look? Maybe friends that obsessively update their GPUs for one?
My favorite source of GPUs is from my friends that upgrade their GPUs every 6 months.
Yeah.
Although the last one that was updating every 6 months finally found another hobby, so now he's down to upgrading every year or two. But Craigslist, eBay, local computer stores that do upgrades. Sometimes they keep the old cards. The truth is, though, is older cards, they can be kind of a crapshoot. Check Newegg, Tiger, and Amazon. A lot of times, older GPUs can actually be priced as higher than newer GPUs that actually run faster, especially if you're looking for, say, an AGP card. We hope you aren't. If you are, it's time to embrace PCI Express with the new motherboard as quickly as possible. Yeah, the 7600 is like 5 years old. I think it came out in 2006.
So in PC terms, that's pretty old.
It's in its dotage.
It's kind of like cat years, but different.
Cat years only.
Dog years, I mean, whatever.
Yeah. basically your GPU is ancient, so you're going to upgrade your GPU, and then you're going to realize that your circa 2006 CPU is feeling kind of slow and can't feed enough bits to the GPU to take advantage of the pipelines. Like IMDB's 5770 for 120 bucks, which is probably too expensive for you. So how about a Sapphire Radeon HD 5670? It's about 73 bucks on Newegg. It's the low-cost card of choice from PCPro.com's leaderboard. I saw some GeForce 9800 GTs on eBay for anywhere between like 10 and 50 bucks. Just make sure it's actually working or that there's a good return policy from that particular eBay-er before you buy it. Yeah, I guess say like the 9800 GT is one of the last older cards on the Tom's Hardware charts. For the mainstream cards, like the enthusiast cards they're not even listing anything that old anymore.
Oh man.
But
well, it could be time to maybe upgrade everything all at once, and we have some very nice $600 PC recommendations that we've done in the past.
You know,
if that's something you're thinking about.
I got to say, I personally think a $500 PC is a nice investment.
Yeah. I think I'm ready for some upgrades as well.
Yes.
The one we built last year or the year before, my Franken PC, it's still doing okay, but I think it's due for an upgrade.
You want faster.
I want faster, more power, more power.
Let's take a moment to thank one of our sponsors, well, actually one of my favorite sponsors because I use the product every day, Netflix. Netflix.com, they got more than 20 million members. That makes Netflix the world's largest subscription service, instantly streaming TV episodes and movies all over the internet and sending DVDs by mail to my house. I don't have to leave the house to get a good movie. If you're a member, you can instantly watch thousands of titles. We're talking about a vast array of devices they support. Streaming TV episodes, movies to your Xbox 360, your PS3, the Nintendo Wii, Blu-ray players, HD TVs, my Apple TV, all sorts of good stuff. And if you're a Netflix Unlimited member, you can instantly watch as many movies as you want, anytime you want, for one low monthly price. We're talking about a lot of entertainment for not so many dollars because there's no late fees, no due dates. If you're a new member and a Techzilla viewer, we can score you a free trial membership. Do me a favor, go to netflix.com/Techzilla and sign up now. And be sure to use netflix.com/Techzilla so that they know we sent you and we can keep bringing this beautiful television show to your doorstep. Netflix.com/Techzilla. Check it out, people.
Christopher wrote in, hey guys, I was wondering, are there TV tuner cards for satellite? I currently have a Sky HD service, but the idea of an HTPC really appeals to me. Should I build the home theater PC with a TV tuner to replace my Sky Plus HD box? Thanks for the help. Christopher in Chelmsford, UK. I'm hoping I'm saying that right.
I think you said it fantastically. Okay. If you were in the US and talking about Dish or DirecTV, the answer would be easy. No, DirecTV announced a really cool idea, which was a USB satellite DirecTV adapter at CES a few years ago. Basically walked away from it. They never shipped it. At least it got DirecTV 2 PC, which allows you to basically view programs recorded on your DVR on your PCs. A couple years ago, I know, you could still plug a Sky card into a CAM, a conditional access module. It's pretty much a slot you can plug into a home theater PC, so you can plug your Sky card into the home theater PC and get your satellite on, at least if you regularly pulled it out of the home theater PC and put it in a Sky Digibox connected to an antenna, so you get the special Don't Die Yet info injected into the card over the satellite. So you'd still have to keep your Digibox around just to keep the card fresh. Assuming that even still works in 2011, my Google foo for British AV enthusiast sites is weak. Suddenly cable cards seem so simple. If you know a way to get Sky HD working on a home theater PC, do me a favor, email us techzilla@revision3.com. And of course, you can always email techzilla@revision3.com with any tech question you have, or send them to @techzilla. Would be another good place for that. You have the fist, the righteous fist.
Cable card.
Cable card is actually really cool. If
when
you
it
have
works,
cable.
right?
I cut the cable. So that cable card is your problem and Robert Heron's problem.
Yes, it is. Manny writes in, hey Petronica, I was recently thinking about purchasing a new pair of headphones when I came across the Sennheiser RS120 926 megahertz wireless RF headphones with charging cradle.
The longest Amazon title
ridiculous.
Ever.
Yeah. This wireless headphone has gotten rave reviews. I'm a little skeptical, I think you meant skeptical though, since I've never had a good experience with wireless headphones. I want to know, what's your thought on this? If you don't think getting a wireless headphone is a good choice, what other options are out there? Keep up the good work. Thanks, Mehdi from Los Angeles. So the RS120s have 1,704 reviews on Amazon, and the average review is like 4 stars. That's actually a lot of love for headphones, but only your ears will know if you actually like them. If the return policy isn't too onerous, buy them and try them, and then if you don't like them, send it back.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's billions and billions of people have ordered McDonald's hamburgers and are quite happy with them. That doesn't mean you're going to enjoy the McDonald's hamburger experience. Just saying. But 1,700 4-star reviews.
That's pretty good.
That's a lot of happy people with the product. You know, is it going to be the same quality as a freaking $900 pair of audiophile headphones plugged into your amplifier? No, but they're also like $70 for wireless headphones.
Yeah.
Hey, let's take a moment to thank one of our sponsors, Squarespace.com, the fast and easy way to create a high-quality blog portfolio. It doesn't matter what kind of website you want to make, because they have the tools to make it easy for anybody. No coding necessary. You can code if you want to. You got questions, you need help. Squarespace has 24 hours a day, 7-day-a-week support for every single member. Start your website or blog by choosing from over 60 professionally designed templates. You customize them, add content from your computer, your iPhone, or your iPad. Squarespace's mobile apps are really slick. They let you easily add entries from anywhere and manage comments on the go. So if you want to make sure the comments are up to date, or maybe you want to keep the spam off your website, you can do it if you got an iPhone and you're on the run. Many of the internet's highest traffic web pages are powered by Squarespace, not to mention many of the personal pages of Revision 3 hosts and personalities. Do yourself a favor, check out squarespace.com/TechZilla to get a 2-week free trial and learn more. Please support TechZilla by supporting our sponsors like squarespace.com/TechZilla.
Looks like it's time for another website we just can't get enough of. A website that we just can't stay away from because it's too useful, too funny, or just too darn irresistible. This week's pick, songfacts.com. Songfacts.com, according to TechZilla viewer and Twitter follower @FullFocus, is like the IMDB for music. It's chock full of song meanings, trivia, and even exclusive interviews with the musicians and songwriters that are featured on their pages. To learn about a song or an artist, and artist fact, either search for the name at the top of the page or browse the categories. You can even check out a random track if you're feeling adventurous. The user-submitted facts are listed below the track on the page, and the site does their best to make sure everything is accurate, though you may want to take some of this with a grain of salt. If you love a song, they'll link you to places where you can download the ringtone, buy the song on Amazon, and even download the sheet music so you can play it at home. The interviews are really great as well. The artists discuss their work and methods for songwriting, so you can actually get the song facts straight from the source. Music lovers should head over to songfacts.com today and expand your knowledge of your favorite hits. Thanks again to Full Focus on Twitter for the suggestion.
I got a tweet from @KMCCMK9 who asked @Patrick Norton, what's a good encryption tool? I have heard you mention TrueCrypt, but I just want to encrypt one file before uploading. Look, it might seem like a bit of overkill to use TrueCrypt to encrypt a single file, but there's some good reasons to use it, and not just because it's free. Here to tell us and learn us a little bit more and walk us through the process, Mr. Roger Chang, our resident TrueCrypt expert, because he has so much to hide.
Yes, a lot. I have a lot of embarrassing stuff. Mostly it's financial.
But it's on your notebook gets stolen, you can encrypt the hard drive.
Yes.
You know, but it's always nice to have your documents encrypted, or at least your financial documents, your tax data,
If you have a normal healthy amount of paranoia, you should probably encrypt something. If you're one of those people that has a paper shredder and you shred your stuff,
you should be encrypting everything.
You should encrypt everything. Now you might be asking, so it's a single file. Why does it matter if I use TrueCrypt? Well, you don't have to. You can actually use something as simple as WinZip. WinZip supports encryption into the zip file itself, where it's password protected. Unfortunately, you're trading off some security for convenience. Now, the great thing about TrueCrypt is that it's not just secure, it's flexible. That means you can carry it across multiple platforms. Carry it across Windows, OS X, Linux, anything that can run TrueCrypt, and all 3 platforms do.
We should pause right here and remind people that if you are sending an encrypted file attached to an email, do not put the password in the email. Just don't. And if you don't understand why, just trust me and don't do it. We'll explain another time.
So one of the first things you do is when you launch TrueCrypt, and TrueCrypt generally looks the same no matter what platform you're on, you basically get this window. Now the first thing you need to do...
The world's most confusing interface.
Once you understand it's not confusing, it's just a little threadbare. Let's go through the process of actually generating one. So we'll go to Volumes and create a new volume. Now because this... I don't remember his Twitter handle. He just wants to send an email attachment. Okay. We're going to create an encrypted file container. Now you can actually encrypt an entire drive, but unless you want to send that, in the mail or email,
your 2 GB file.
Yeah, it's not going to work. So, and what I said before holds true is that TrueCrypt is very flexible. You can create as large or as small a container as you want.
Because you can basically hide the contents of a container by creating a container that's much larger than the actual file inside of it.
So, and it's a good segue because you get an option between a standard TrueCrypt volume, which is just an encrypted volume, or a hidden TrueCrypt volume. Now, I typically do the hidden TrueCrypt volume because it does this kind of nested thing, kind of like the Russian dolls where you put one in another. It allows you to say, someone grabs you and says, give me all your information, give me your password to your TrueCrypt volume. You give it to them, but you can give them the outside casing one. And so they can access whatever files are in there, but there's a hidden volume that they can't see. And so this allows you a modicum of deniability. It's like, I gave you my password, you have everything you want. You know, I don't have anything else.
I'm wondering which one of us is going to get pulled over by the black cars with the government license
So
plates
let's
first.
just say, let's call this important, and then we'll just put it on the desktop so I can find it. And then we'll save it here, and then next.
But if it's a hidden file, how do you find it?
We'll get to that in a minute.
Sorry.
All right, now encryption algorithm. This is very important. Encryption is very, very crucial to what TrueCrypt does. This is how your information gets secured. Now, the great thing about TrueCrypt is not only does it support multiple encryption algorithms, it actually lets you do it in a cascading style, so you can do one on top of another.
This is the really cool math that makes the stuff disappear.
Yes. Unfortunately, as with all math, the more you do, the more time and more effort it takes. So if you have kind of a slow PC, or the person you're sending it to has a slow PC, you might not want to go through
the two-fish serpent wrapped inside of a serpent AES, wrapped inside of an AES, wrapped inside of a serpent.
And you know, they give you a little benchmark, so if you wanted to, you can see how long it would take. Now, this is very important if you do something drive level, like a partition, like anything around 2-3 gigs. If you're doing something small, not as big of an issue because it's so small. So let's do one there, and then a hash algorithm. This is essentially just to generate a hash of the information. Not encrypted, but just hashed.
Basically, the hash tells you that all of the information is there.
The hash is there to kind of mix everything up, and then it gets encrypted.
Got it.
So kind of like, I'm choosing the SHA 512. I don't know why, but the NSA likes it. So
if it's good enough for the NSA, it's good enough for us.
Probably a really bad reason to do it. Now, we can choose kilobytes, megabytes, or gigabytes. Now, you say you want to send it over email, so let's pick something small, like 6 megabytes, right? It's enough to send a document and something else. Now we give it a password. Now this is the outer volume password. This is like if someone wants to wail on you to get your secret password, this is the password you give them. So let's do, we'll do something simple.
Patrick sucks.
That's good. And since we can, we'll display Patrick sucks. All right, key files, we'll skip that for now. Now we just generate a randomizing pool by using the mouse cursor multiple times in a circular fashion, repeatedly. And then we click Format. Because it's so small, it's pretty fast. Now we have our outer volume. Now this is very important. We want to just basically start cramming in information that may or may not have anything of use, but generally they suggest you put something that looks sensitive. So people, it's kind of a way to kind of draw attention away that you might have something else. So let's see.
This is our honey pot, as it were.
Exactly, a honey pot. So will this fit? Oh, no, not enough free space. Well, we'll live with the bug for now. Generally, you want to cram more files, text files, documents. So like, you know, Patrick's important tax information, Patrick's mortgage information, Patrick's life insurance policy, you know, stuff like that, and you just keep cramming in there. And remember, this is they don't have to be dummy files. They just don't have to be the important stuff. You can just label it important. Now it's asking for the hidden volume.
Dun, dun, dun.
And again, you will be asked for yet another encryption algorithm and hashtag.
AES two-fish serpent, 3 ciphers and a cascading.
Now we're going to make this slightly smaller. Actually, we'll make it 2 since we don't need to. We'll make it 4. Click next. We'll give another password. Veronica
is awesome.
I'll just say Veronica. I can't.
Now, here's
password ever.
It is an awesome password, but wouldn't it be better to have like Veronica star L47Q ampersand 6?
Well, what you can do is basically what I like to do is lead out someone's name, and I just take out words that can be replaced with, of course, you know what's going to happen is I'm going to totally forget it.
Don't worry, everybody at home watching along has written it down by now.
That's fine. Fat, that's good. Generate, random pool.
I have a funny feeling our viewers like, I don't need to secure this file this badly.
You know, you don't have to. You don't have to do the hidden volume. You can just do the first volume and it's fine. Or you can, you know, if it's not that important, actually, if it's not that important, you wouldn't care anyway. So. All right, we're finished. So now we have this document that says important, and all we need to do is mount it. We'll mount, and this is the important thing. Do we want to mount the outer or the inner? So if we want to do the outer, we type in Patrick sucks right here, and then we'll do OK. Now this will mount the external. This is that original container I made with that file in it.
So can I attach that container to an email as an attachment?
Yes, it's a file.
It's just a file.
It's a file at this point. It is a file with a virtual file system.
Just a file and all that it entails.
But this is the cool stuff. So okay, let's dismount it and let's mount it again. But this time I will use a super secret password that I probably won't remember.
So basically, by typing in the hidden password, you get the hidden contents inside the container.
Whoops, wrong password.
That's not even. I don't think you had a 4 in there, did you?
No. Oh. There we go. And now we have, basically 3.8 megabytes to cram, here's your super secret top, information. Now the thing that you're gonna kind of want to do is make sure that when you give the password to someone, it's not in a vulnerable situation. In other words, don't send it via an email.
We're not real fieldcraft practitioners here.
But the great thing is now they can take that file, so if that person has an OS 10 machine, they have a Linux machine, they have Windows, if they have TrueCrypt, they can open it, they can access it, they can write back to it.
And you can send that, basically, if you can pretty much, I feel pretty comfortable saying if you use these tools to encrypt a file before you send it over the internet, your file will be safe, assuming they get it at the other end.
Exactly. If you agree on everything
and there's not someone at the other end beating the password out of them.
I mean, ultimately, the weakest link in all this is the person. Right. I mean, their habits, like if they leave the password just written down on
There is no patch for human stupidity.
Well, security depends a lot on being careful. Right. It depends a lot on being conscientious enough to make sure that it's very easy to lock the door of your house, but sometimes you might lock the door, but lose the key or something.
Or forget to lock the door.
Or forget the locked door. I mean,
or loan the keys to the neighbor.
Exactly.
Who makes a copy of them and breaks into your house while you're on vacation.
But I love TrueCrypt, and it's really a great system for securing your files, and it's free.
It's free. We got more of your emails coming up, but first, let's take a moment to thank one of our sponsors, Carbonite Online Backup. Computer disasters will happen to you. Your data will go bye-bye unless. Well, it doesn't really matter, right? Whether you've been hammered by a virus, your notebook's been stolen, your house burns down with a computer inside, something's going to happen. But if you get Carbonite Online Backup before your disaster, then you won't have to worry because your files will be backed up automatically and safely off-site. And it's really easy to get them back. Plus, you get anytime, anywhere access to your backed up files from any computer or on your smartphone or iPad with a free Carbonite application. With Carbonite, unlimited backup for your PC or Mac is just $59 a year. That's less than $5 a month for safety and peace of mind. But it gets better. If you use the offer code TechZilla to start your free 15-day trial, you'll score 2 months free if you decide to buy. All the details are up at Carbonite.com. And do us a favor, use the offer code TechZilla when you go there. You'll get 2 months free with your purchase, and you'll be supporting the show.
Chris sent us this email asking, I have to transfer quite a bit of video files from a Mac formatted external hard drive via USB 2.0. When connecting the drive to my PC, I couldn't get the dang blame thing to recognize it. I thought about trying an FTP site and having my friends send them to me, but I don't want to deal with the painfully long upload-download times. The files total around 36 gigabytes. I would be interested in whatever advice you could offer, provided it's free or really cheap. Chris in Astoria, New York. So if you want to skip the uploading part, you can always download software like Mac Drive or HFSE Explorer, which will allow your PC to view Mac formatted drives and manage files within them. So, okay, Mac Drive is like $50, but it also has a free 5-day trial. Transmac is another piece of similar software, and it's $48 to buy. It also has a trial as well.
I got to say, if you work in a, if you work regularly, having to have a PC access Mac hard drives, which I do at home, Mac Drive is worth every freaking penny.
That's great. Yeah, they're on version 8 right now, so it's been around for a while. HFSE Explorer isn't really meant for external drives as far as I can tell. It's more for disk images, or if you have like an Intel Mac and you want to access files from an older Mac and you're running Windows in boot camp and you want to copy files over between the partitions. But according to their website, users have had luck copying files from an iPod that was formatted in HFS Plus, so it could work. And it's free, so it's at least worth a shot, maybe.
Just don't write to the file you're, like basically I would say, like, if you're worried about whether or not it's going to work, don't write to that, don't change that drive.
Yeah.
Like download the files first, then experiment with changing that drive.
Yeah, okay, yeah. There seem to be some better options to me than dealing with an FTP or a file sharing service. You're right, it would take a super long time, as we know from experience.
And you'd blow through your data cap, and it would suck. Just, USB 2.0 is vastly better than like FTPing up to the cloud. That makes my head hurt just thinking about it. 36 gigabytes into the ether and back.
Yeah, I think I've had some conversations with people about this in the past, my Steam backup, so we won't go there. And we got this message from Samuel, who wanted to point out another option for Bluetooth hands-free talking for people with hearing aids. He says, another option for your hearing impaired viewer that was looking for options. Please consider Bluetooth enabled behind the ear hearing aids. Costco offers them, and now they can take or make calls from anywhere. Best regards, Samuel.
I can't believe there's a product that Costco had that I didn't know about.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I haven't been to Costco in years, but
I haven't been to Costco in at least
mere
a week and a
moments.
They got the organic turkey meatloaf, and I like it. Randy also wrote in about basically the same thing, suggesting for the guy with the hearing aids looking for a hands-free Bluetooth option, there are hearing aids that you can purchase that actually have built-in Bluetooth support. It's a few hundred more to get Bluetooth. When my dad was looking at getting a hearing aid, that's what he found. But at least you won't need to carry around another device, and remember to not lose it.
That's nice, but at least with the hands-free ones, you can just kind of leave them in the glove compartment.
Welcome to the glove department.
Leave them in the glove compartment, and that way they're out of sight, and you don't have to carry them around from car to house.
I gotta say, my personal favorite is when my phone talks to my head unit in my car stereo, and then as long as I can keep people from stealing the car stereo out of my car, I got Bluetooth.
There you go.
Of course, then everybody in the car hears what you're doing, so maybe the ear-based ones are a better idea.
Yeah, those are nice. The technology is really ramping up. It's good to hear that they're integrating these kind of technologies into things that already existed to make people's lives a little bit easier.
And thanks to Samuel and Randy for sending those in.
Yes, and finally, Robert out in Lancaster, Pennsylvania wants to correct us about something we said last week about printers. He writes, I feel you gave wrong advice about the printer for Terry in episode 220. The PhotoSmart Plus model that you have uses a 4-ink cartridge system. I work at Staples and I recommend it to most customers looking in the mid-range. The better model for Terry would be the HP PhotoSmart E All-in-One HP model D110A. So that's an earlier version. While it's not as fast as the Plus, it does print, scan, and copy, and uses a 2-cartridge system like Terry requested. Hate to criticize, love the show, Robert.
Is it also compatible with the AirPrint?
It is ePrint enabled, so it will work with AirPrint. So that's good. Robert, it's not really a criticism. Don't worry about it. I thought actually that my printer did have a tricolor cartridge because it's got the cyan, magenta, and then whatever the other color is. Cyan, magenta.
CMYK?
Yeah, whatever. I forget what the third color is. Yellow, apparently. Green, what? But apparently they actually are separate. I didn't think I realized that. I guess that goes to show how often I change my ink cartridges.
I hate 3-in-1 ink cartridges because invariably you run out of one cartridge before the other two.
And then you have to replace the whole thing. So still, I think my response was better, Mr. Staples.
We ended up with 2 printers simply because one laser printer that we print 90% of our stuff out on, and then the all-in-one where we scan and print and do all sorts of crazy art projects.
Yeah. So if that's really that much more important to Terry, that is a good suggestion as well.
And thank you for sending that in.
Yes, thank you.
You got a burning tech question for us, a burning desire to make sure we've heard your voice?
Well, if it's really burning that much, you should probably see a doctor.
That's a really good point. Hey, we want your questions. We need your questions. We build the show around your questions, so send them into techzilla@revision3.com. That's the email address. or you can post on our Facebook page at facebook.com/TechZilla.
Yes, and of course we're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TechHD and Twitter at TechZilla, at Robert Heron, at Veronica, and at Patrick Norton. Thank you guys so much for watching.
I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Until next time, you've been watching TechZilla.